Hey there, baseball fans. Nathan Rohde and Shooter Hunt here with the latest episode of Coffee and Curveballs. We're on the Big Ten for the 2020 recruiting classes. We've done the East Division. We're doing them by football divisions. We've done the East, and now it's on to the West, Shooter.
Yeah, a lot of homegrown talent staying home, which I'm excited about in the Big Ten because Big Ten baseball brings out a lot of fans when it's good.
Excellent. Well, let's start off with Illinois, and you mentioned it being homegrown talent. They have 4 guys in the top 500, all of which are from Illinois, starting off with Jack Crowder, a right-hander, who was up to 94 this fall.
Yeah, Jack Crowder, big, imposing frame. It's a loose, quick arm. I think his best is definitely ahead of him right now. Actually saw him throw a no-hitter a couple years ago in a summer ball game, which for Cangelosi Sparks, which was very impressive. But this Illinois class, these guys, a lot of times you get the big hype of players and they get drafted and you never hear from them. I think these guys get to campus and they make huge jumps there. Clayton Johnson, 6'8", 235-pound frame. He's getting up close to 90 miles an hour. There's a lot more in the tank the way that arm works. Real feel for the changeup as well. And then Peyton Hutchings, a lefty, 6 foot, 170 pounds. A lot more there, mid-80s, but it's going to definitely jump once he gets to campus.
Excellent. Heading out a little further west now to the Hawkeyes of Iowa. One guy in the top 500 in Michael Seegers, but still plenty of depth for the class beyond that.
And I'm a huge Seegers fan. He's the captain on the field. The more you watch him play, the more you like this kid. And he's a leadoff hitter, can really run, can defend. He's going to play somewhere on diamond, has a chance to stick at shortstop, if not second base, potentially third base. But he's going to be feared at the top of an order because he can really steal a bag. But with him pairing well is an Illinois kid, Anthony Mangano. And from the left side, he does not get cheated. And Iowa's done a great job developing power hitters. Mangano's got a chance to really take advantage of that down there in the Big Ten. But even more so, we talked about keeping that homegrown talent, and Iowa's done a great job of this, and they're doing a great job below in some of the classes coming as well. But Ty Langenberg, right-handed pitcher, long limbs, it's very projectable. I think his best is ahead of him. He's going to have a huge velo jump while on campus. Alec Nagget, who we loved throughout the fall championships, has two-way potential, right, as a hitter from the left side and also up into the upper 80s as a lefty on the mound.
Absolutely, yeah. Definite two-way potential there. Strength from the left side of the plate. We saw him hit a bomb at the fall championships in a pretty key situation. And that quick arm, running a fastball up to 90. So definitely some two-way potential for him.
Yeah, and then Tyson James, a big right-hander out of Missouri, he may be the linchpin for this class because he looks like he has the potential to be a Friday night type guy who makes a huge jump there for Iowa. But that's something that they're going to have to see over the next few years, but I think he can develop into that.
Excellent. So heading a little further north now to the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. Starting off a guy that they might sweat a little bit in the draft because there is some national attention around him. But George Klassen is a projectable righty. Minnesota's a good fit for him. He struggles with strikes at times. But the stuff is electric, and he definitely has some high upside there on the mound.
Yeah, can really spin it. Those mextures are high, and when you go out, if he's out there for 3 or 4 innings, you're seeing 9 to 12 strikeouts from a guy like George Klassen. So they might sweat that out a little bit, but I love the fit for him. They do a great job developing there. Shout out Dinkytown there in Minnesota. But Cody Kelly, left-handed hitting catcher from the state of Minnesota, really like him as well. I don't want to call him Joe Mauer type, but like he has that type of frame and athleticism, and everybody knows who Joe Mauer is in the Twin Cities. And then Noah DeLuga, another guy who kind of was a later commit, but is a left-handed pitcher, lots of upside, quick arm. I think he's going to do a great job there in the Big Ten.
Excellent. Moving on now to the Cornhuskers of Nebraska. Guys in the top 500 like Jack Stile. You also got Caleb Bennett from California, who I'm a fan of. We saw him at the Pro Case, and it was a plus slider that he was snapping off that day in his bullpen. Fastball, high 80s, but the slider was a real out pitch, and he's a guy that I think that Nebraska can get to campus, and he can easily be a weekend starter with the 1-2 punch and that fastball slider combination.
Oh, Oh yeah, and with a new staff coming in, I'm sure he was one of their first calls to make sure he stuck to this commitment. But that slider is definitely real and is going to play. And then two big physical middle of the order bats like Style, who's also a state champion in football in Minnesota, but he can really swing it from the right side. Potential stick on the left side of Diamond on defense. And Carson Nicodemo, big physical left-handed hitter from Ohio, another guy who would probably drive in a couple runs while they're at Nebraska.
Excellent. Now heading to the Windy City in Chicago, we got Northwestern. Tough place to play. It gets really cold there in the spring, but they still have been able to pull in some guys. Anthony Livermore being one of them, who's shooter. I know you're a big fan of. I'm a big fan of. He's just a fun player to watch on the field.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite players in this class, and not the biggest guy, but for a smaller frame kid, he sits in the middle of the order during the summer. He plays for top tier, does a great job there. Every time I see him, I feel like he gets a hit. Gives a great at bat. He's going to be a tough out that every team in the Big Ten, when they get their scouting reports, they're going to be talking about Livermore for the next 3 or 4 years. And he can also pick it at defensively. But he's not the only guy they got. They went into Southern California, got a big arm as well.
Yeah, Ben Grable, who's 89 and 92. It's a short, hitchy arm action. 12.6 curveball in the low 70s. He was at area code games, 6'4", projectable guy. Southern California, they might sweat that one out a little bit because obviously the exposure in California. He was at area code games, so he is somewhat of a known name, on that level. But still, 89 and 92, 6'4", projectable guy coming in for Northwestern. That would be a pretty good get for them.
Absolutely.
But wrapping up the Big Ten West, we've got the Boilermakers of Purdue, who are going through a coaching change. But it doesn't seem to be affecting them that much in this class.
No, Logan Danson, right-handed pitcher, a lot of upside there, potential two-way guy, but physical athlete from Ohio. Jeez, again, we keep talking about these athletes from Ohio. They're spread out all over the Big Ten. Jacob Morosco, former future gamer with Team Minnesota, lots of upside there. He had lots of fans in college recruiting ranks throughout his recruiting process. Jeremy Shork, another former future gamer, real power from left side as a catcher, can also hop on the mound, get up there close to 90, but I love the way that bat fits into the middle of the order over time. And then Will Tenuta, quick arm, smaller, wiry frame right now, but I think he's going to throw pretty hard once he gets on campus and potential back-end arm.
Excellent. So there you have it, the Big Ten West. So now we've been through 3 conferences with our 2020 recruiting classes in the SEC, ACC, and Big Ten. Coming up next, we'll have the Pac-12 and then the Big 12, and then we'll look at some mid or power majors, mind you, down the line. So be sure to be on the lookout at prepbaseballreport.com for those, as well as podcasts where we go in a little bit more depth. But as always, for Shooter Hunt, I'm Nathan Rohde. This was Coffee and Curveballs, and until next time, we'll see you guys at the ballpark.